We are less than a week away from Super Bowl 58 featuring the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Sadly, it is the last regular season football show for us over here at Statletics, so it's a bittersweet day, but we love the Super Bowl. It is the most exciting game of the year from both a NFL perspective, just general stance, and from a sports gambling perspective. So we already did our game breakdown, went in detail of who we liked. Spoiler, Brendan's on Chiefs +2 and I am on 49ers -2. But we have a separate video for that. You can go find it at our home page, whether you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. So make sure to check that out. We got some good breakdowns there. But today we're just going to break down all of our favorite props that we have heading into the big game. And so I saw something where there's an expected I think 67 million, give or take, adults in America are going to be wagering on this game at some capacity. So pretty crazy numbers there. So I'm thoroughly excited for this. There's a million props that you got to comb through, but we're going to start off with some in-game player props, stuff like receiving yards, passing yards, anytime touchdowns, first touchdown scores. It's not, we're not having fun unless we throw some money on some first touchdown scores, even though they're negative EV, but we're here for the fun. So we're glad you guys could join us. If you were watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe to the video, and then comment your favorite props, man. We love looking for that information. Let us know what we missed, what you guys have cooked up on the books. It's always a good time to see what everybody else has. So let's get right into it. Player props. Brendan, start us off easy. Ease us in. What you got, what you like, and why.
Do we have a specific amount of rounds we're doing here, or are we just kind of going shot for shot for a minute?
Let's go shot for shot.
I've got a million here. So I'll start out with one pretty basic, one that'll probably be bet on a lot. And this goes for regardless of whoever the defense is that he's playing. But I've got Travis Kelce over 70.5 receiving yards, because even though they're playing one of the most athletic and dynamic linebacker duos with Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, I still think, especially if they play that zone defense and Kelce likes to get in between the zones, I like Kelce over specifically because I think he's just going to get fed the ball. He always does. It's the biggest game there is. This is Mahomes' first look every single time, and he always seems to get open. And he's cleared 70.5 yards plenty of times. And what better than to do it again with Taylor Swift watching you while you're trying to get a third ring? Yeah,
so the fun thing about this game is like there's no hesitation with certain players due to injury or load management. If Kyle Shanahan wants to run McCaffrey into the ground 40 times, he's going to run McCaffrey into the ground 40 times. If Andy Reid wants to throw it to Kelce every other play, he's going to throw it to Kelce every other play. And we talked about on the last show, I don't want to get into too much detail, that the 49ers, 50% of the time, they're either running cover 3 or cover 4, and that's a juicy matchup for Kelce. So see where your head's at. I'm sure that you have a few more Kelce props on there. I won't spoil it for everybody, but yeah, I like where your head's at. Start us off easy. I'm sure. It's one of those things where it's like, don't overthink it. So, all right. Sticking with the Chiefs side on my end, I am taking Patrick Mahomes over 24.5 rushing yards. And I have a couple reasons why. But everybody knows that Mahomes is a little bit underrated when it comes to scrambling. He's phenomenal at it. I mentioned earlier that there's going to be no worry for injury or load management in this game. So nobody's going to be in Mahomes' ear telling him not to run to preserve his health. So, and there's a pattern in close competitive games, especially where defenses are a bit stronger, where Mahomes will just take off and run. And it makes sense. And, it's, again, one of those things, let's not overthink it. If his guys are covered in coverage, he's going to run. He's shown us that he's not afraid to do that. I mean, let's just start from the top of the schedule. The close game, the 1-point loss at Detroit at the beginning of the season, he had 45 rushing yards. Jacksonville, where they came out with a win, that was a an 8-point win. He had 30 rushing yards. Chicago, he had 28 rushing yards, even though that was a blowout. Jets, 23-20 win. That was a close game. 51 rushing yards. And those games were all just at the beginning of the season. We go to Denver. They had 31 rushing yards. He had 31 rushing yards. That was a 9-point win. The Chargers, he had 29 rushing yards. That wasn't close, but more so competitive than anything. Philly, the game that they lost to back in November, he had 38 rushing yards. Green Bay, the game that they lost, he had 26 rushing yards. Raiders, the game that they lost, he had 53 rushing yards. So there's a trend here where if it's a competitive game with everything on the line, or the defense is really good, really solid, Mahomes is going to run. And, of course, I absolutely think this is going to be a competitive game, and the 49ers defense is a top 3 unit, hands down. So 24 rushing yards kind of seems like a gift. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with the stats that you were saying right there, I mean, I would have to agree. The only thing that I would say hinders that, and this is probably not going to happen, the only thing that would hinder that is if they got up a good amount and they kind of results in more of the time management with running the ball. But I mean, I think he'll get a couple of opportunities, and I definitely think that he's like fast. Like he's like actually pretty deceptively fast, and
he looks funny when he runs.
Yeah,
it doesn't look graceful, but
he's pretty fast. But I know that if he sees, like, regardless of what's going on, unless someone's wide open, if he sees that there's like 10 yards of space, he'll go. I know he will. So that's why I'm going to add a little snippet to the end of that, which is all I'm going to say is that they have literally every single possible scenario that you can think of. They have one for for players' first rush, direction, and yardage. And I'm going to go with
that's crazy.
I'm going with the pocket collapses around him. He's got 10 yards of space. He runs up the middle for 10 plus yards for his first rush for 9-1 odds.
Okay. Hey, we're getting spicy now.
There. Yeah, we might as well.
I like that.
I've got some more boring ones that I'll go on probably next, but we'll turn it up a couple notches.
Okay. I'm going to keep it simple again, nothing crazy, but I'm going to flip it over to the 49ers. I love Kittle's anytime touchdown at plus 180, and I've seen this go up, and I'm actually going to wait for it to maybe get higher. But the Chiefs' defense is second to none when it comes to locking down wide receiver ones. I mean, they are phenomenal. They're actually third in the league in total yardage allowed to opponents' receivers. And L'Jarius Sneed is having a career year. He's locking down people. I think Ayuk is going to struggle. And you can take this in a bunch of different directions. You look at Debo's yardage. But I think Kittle is going to be kind of a big component of the 49ers offensive game plan going into the game. Just because he'll be the guy that goes underneath facing off against this Kansas City Chiefs linebacking core, which they're not bad, but certainly better than attacking the Chiefs secondary. And so I think that Shanahan really likes the matchup of George Kittle going into against this Kansas City Chiefs linebacking core. So Kittle anytime touchdown in a big game like this, it just give it to me, man. All right, hit it. Give me something else.
All right. Well, I just feel like we'll run out of time if we go shot for shot. So I'll just go with the one that I actually really believe in, and that's Brock Purdy under 247.5 passing yards. And the reason I think that is, I think he will struggle a little bit with the pressure getting to him, because the wide receivers on the outside, unless he has a bunch of check down options, the wide receivers on the outside are going to be locked down, I think. The Chiefs in the playoffs facing Josh Allen, Tua, Lamar, right? Yeah. Have only allowed an average of 209 yards a game. And albeit there was some bad weather in those games, the weather's going to be perfect in Las Vegas, but I think that Purdy goes under this number here, and that also goes with me thinking that the Chiefs will end up on top on this side.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. All right, I'm going to get into some. They're still in-game ones, but they're not as traditional as what we usually go in on a week in, week out basis for the NFL. I'm going to put some cash on the first rushing attempt. Which team has the first rushing attempt? And I have a logic to this. So, for both of them, they're 2-1 odds. So I'm taking the 49ers because, listen, we know. So if the 49ers get the ball first, they're definitely going to get it. But if the Chiefs get the ball first, there's a chance. There's a chance that Andy Reid gets a little cute and tries to throw the football 3 plays in a row. They go 3 and out. And then they punt to the 49ers. So
Good.
I think instead of a 50-50 odds weight for this, I think it should be a little bit more in favor of the 49ers. So throwing some cash on there just for fun. And I think the logic kind of bodes well for it. So just throwing that out there.
I like what you're saying there, but I do think it just comes down to who gets the ball first. My opinion. But I like that. That's how I know what you're saying. And that the odds should be in favor.
But so let's whoever gets the
49ers are definitely running the ball first if they get the ball
that's
first.
My thing.
Yeah.
They're definitely. But say there is like a 5% chance, 10% chance that the Chiefs opening script is 3 straight pass plays. They have the highest pass rate over expectation of any team that came into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they throw 3 straight times. So I think that just from an odds making perspective, that the odds are in my favor taking first rush attempt 49ers. Just saying. So enough said. Enough of that. Having a little fun. Brendan, what else you got on your slip? Let me know.
Oh, man, I don't know where it is. It's just going to be a crazy one right in the middle. I don't know where it is, but they have a Super Bowl repeat from 2020, and I don't know where it is. It's crazy odds, but I'm putting at least like $5 to $10 on the exact same score as the last Super Bowl.
Okay,
it's like plus 5,000 or something like that. And I'm doing that. I'm just doing that. Okay, I think that's awesome.
But hopefully it's better odds.
I would hope so. But to bring it back down to reality a little bit, I'm going to start with another kind of boring one, but I do think that running the ball in this game is going to be very, very important. And I think that both of the running backs go over on their rushing yards. Pacheco, because it's been shown that you can run against 49ers defense. And I mean, the Chiefs had Mahomes, right? But they're still gonna use Isaiah Pacheco, and he's gone over 100 yards in a couple of his last games. So I think the 66 is pretty good to go over 66.5, and then McCaffrey over 90.5. I hit it in the last game they played. It was like, I think it was 90.5 again. He had 92. But in order for the 49ers to win, in my opinion, McCaffrey has to have like 100 yards. Like they're going to have to ride him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my running back props for the day.
Okay. I'm not so sure about the Pacheco one just because of how much Mahomes runs, but I like the 49ers. I like the McCaffrey one just because something that we mentioned earlier, if Kyle Shanahan, we know he sticks true to his run scheme just because it's second to none. And there's no reason to hold anybody back in this game from a workload standpoint. So why not give Christian McCaffrey 40 touches? If he's going to be your most efficient and productive player on the field, just give the guy the damn ball and let him do it. So 100% agree. All McCaffrey props are open for play. So love that. Love the 90. And I'm sure there's a couple more that are juicy as well. Okay, we'll dive into this. Speaking of 49ers ball carriers, I like
Mr. Mitchell.
Kyle Juszczyk has first touchdown at 65-1 odds.
That's insane.
Just because Kyle Shanahan loves this guy. I can't say there's a rhyme or reason or a trend out there that backs me. I looked for a little bit, but I just think that with how tough it'll be on the 49ers receiving core, outside receiving core to get open against this Chiefs secondary. We mentioned George Kittle is probably going to be the next guy up, or Debo, depending on how the Chiefs decide to cover Debo. But I would not be surprised if Shanahan came out with something crazy. Like all focus is going to be on Ayuk, so McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk. Why not, at least try to get crazy with Juszczyk? And we've seen the 49ers line him up in the slot and outside on the perimeter as a wide receiver. So no rhyme or reason, but I just love the idea of Shanahan using Juszczyk in that way and pivoting off of that as well. I like the first reception in the game to be Kyle Juszczyk at 35-1 odds as well. Now, I do have a little bit of data in this. So 2 out of the last 6 games, Brock Purdy's first pass attempt has gone to Kyle Juszczyk. However, there's a kicker to this. Both of them were incomplete. But out of two out of the last 6 games, the 49ers' first passing play has been a pass attempt to Kyle Juszczyk. So 35-1 odds for something that has been attempted 2 out of 6 times. I kind of like it. I'm going to sprinkle that. That's kind of fun.
I'm just curious. I don't know if you remember exactly what play like they were running and stuff, but was it like he was in the pocket for 4 seconds check down, or was it like a in the flats ball just to get the ball rolling?
So I do remember one was against the Lions and one was back against the I think it was the Commanders, maybe, or no, it was the game against the Ravens where they got the crap beat out of them. And so one of them was a check down pass. One of them was a fake halfback dive, fullback slip. Mm-hmm. And that was against the Lions. And so they faked it and then they threw it out to Juszczyk, but Aiden Hutchinson was right there from what I remember. So just saying. And you could look it up. Go to the Lions box score and look at the 49ers first play or first pass attempt, and it's an incomplete pass to Kyle Juszczyk. So I did a little bit too much digging there for that one, but it's fun, man. I like those odds. I love me some Kyle Juszczyk, man. So I'm definitely sprinkling some on him as well. All right, Beach. I know you got some more in there. Before we get to the novelty stuff, give me some more player props. What you got?
I've got a not popular one at all. It's just because I have an obsession with tight ends scoring touchdowns. I will, in fact, be having a $50 to win 13 grand parlay. And in that parlay, for the things I've all said so far, but there's one that's just stupid, and I'll lose because of it. But it's like the Chiefs are like on the left hash, like 9-yard line, right? And they've got everybody in there, but they've got a double tight end set with Noah Gray in line and Kelsey kind of standing up, right? And it's like, okay, he's in line, whatever. He looks like a lineman, right? And 49ers are playing a little soft, right? Playing a little soft. And somehow Noah Gray gets open. Mahomes finds him, left corner of the end zone, and he scores the first touchdown. I mean, he scores a touchdown of the game. I'd like to do first touchdown also, but I'm going with Noah Gray anytime touchdown score. Yeah.
Fair.
With that exact scenario.
There's some good
left
odds
hash, left corner. Yeah.
Again,
not bad.
They're gonna some of the coaches, especially with how great these defenses are, some of these coaches are gonna have to get creative. So everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. I have a fun one along the same kind of thought process as you. Jerick McKinnon was just activated last week and will be healthy and ready to go for this game. Now, Pacheco is the Chiefs guy. There's no question that he's going to be the workhorse running back for this game. CEH, I guess, for some reason, Andy Reid has, some sort of favorable side that really likes CEH, albeit he kind of sucks. But McKinnon has been that dude in the postseason every year for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think it's possible that McKinnon comes in here and catches a receiving touchdown?
Oh, I mean,
Because it's 6.5 or at plus 650, 6.5 to 1. I kind of like it, you know? I mean, they've seemed to love McKinnon in the postseason, and I feel like just for the sake of it, I'm going to have to sprinkle a couple dollars on it just because, you know? I think that McKinnon has been that guy in the postseason.
I know he's active, but like, are they really going to get 3 running backs involved?
Maybe. I mean, we've asked.
They could do 2 running back set.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple times, maybe 2 plays. I mean, they could do that around the goal line and do some of their crazy stuff with like the little shovel pass with McKinnon in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
you never know.
You never know, man. You never know with these things. All I know is that everything that I say is going to be wrong. Just kidding. No.
I got another one too. So this one is not a player one specifically, but it's a game prop. Last score of the game, field goal, plus 200. I think that's an easy grab. Considering that if this game is close, if this game goes into overtime, I think it should be more 2-1 odds than 3-1 that they get a field goal. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
So
makes sense to me. I mean, the only scenario that it wouldn't be is if if they need a touchdown to win, that's
maybe, stupid, but it's like I feel like more often than not, it's always these games come down to a field goal, you know?
Yeah.
More often than not. And so, I don't know. I like the odds there. I like the EV there. You know, I feel like it should have been more of like plus 150.
Do you think there's a lot of field goals in this game?
I mean, look how good both of these defenses are. I think it's going to be one of those things where the first half is kind of a slog. You know, both teams are going to come out. Both defenses are going to stymie both offenses, and it's going to be like the second half where everything kind of picks up and everybody gets into a rhythm and everybody gets a feel for the other team's game plan. You know, I think everybody expects both of these teams to come out firing, which they certainly will, but I think it's going to take a minute for both teams to get settled on the offensive side of the ball. Hence, I think there's going to be a bit of a slow start. Now, I certainly think both teams will be able to score. And score often, but I lean more towards that being in the second half than the first half.
So you've got second half, there being more points scored in the second half.
I haven't necessarily checked the odds on that, but I do like more points to be scored in the second half. Because if I remember correctly, the last time these two teams met, that was the case for that game as well.
Yeah, it's minus 120 for second half, plus 110 for the first half. It's pretty neutral.
Let's look it up real quick.
But, that would only make sense unless, that would only make sense. I like that idea.
So into the first half, back in 2020, there's a total of 20 points.
It was more in the second.
It was 11 points in the second half.
Oh, psych. 11?
Yeah, because the score was 10-10. And then at the end of the first, and then at the end of the game, the score was 20-31.
It was 10-10 at the end of the first half?
Yeah. But still more, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I feel. It feels like this game is going to go. So, okay, let's keep trucking along. Both teams incomplete their first pass. Plus 100. I'll take that any day of the week, honestly. I mean, both teams come out incomplete. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, let's say both teams are going to come out and they have a deep shot drawn up to kind of set the tone on their script.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible. Brock Purdy's first game in the Super Bowl, nerves are going to get to him. He's got to get it out of his system the first couple of drives. Crazy things
happen. His drawers.
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll settle in, but I wouldn't blame the kid for getting out there and having the shakes a little bit. I certainly would. I don't know if I can handle that, but both teams incomplete first pass. I like it. I think it's going to happen.
I've got a little bit of a dialogue question for you, okay? Let's talk about the Super Bowl MVP, okay? Super Bowl MVP. So obviously, it's given to a quarterback like 95% of the time. But I want to know your true opinion. Who do you actually think can win the Super Bowl MVP this year? I've got it to 3 people. But who do you actually think can or could?
The first 3 guys that come to my mind is one, Patrick Mahomes. I think that if the Chiefs win, no matter what happens, Patrick Mahomes is going to be it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 2 and 3 have to be 49ers. And for me, it's either Brock Purdy or Christian McCaffrey.
So if the 49ers, you think the 49ers are going to win, right? We both talked about running the ball.
Correct.
A whole bunch. So what would it take for Purdy to win the MVP? Because that might kind of be a shallow question, but the reason I say is because the reason that I think that the 49ers are going to win this game is if McCaffrey has 2 touchdowns and like 140 all-purpose yards.
I think that if Purdy throws a one single touchdown, he's already got it, assuming the 49ers win.
Okay.
I think that the quarterback position is coveted too much in this league, and it's too important in this league for a quarterback to not get it unless he just truly is not any sort of factor in the game.
Okay.
So,
I mean, the odds show that.
Yeah.
I was just curious what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I think it's Mahomes. So I actually tried to arbitrage bet this the other day, but no book would let me do it. I tried to bet the Mahomes plus 150 to win the Super Bowl MVP, and then I tried to arbitrage it with 49ers alt line at plus 3 to get plus money, but I couldn't get up to it. Everybody was evened out properly. So
can you do Mahomes and the Chiefs to win along with Purdy?
You can't parlay that. I tried to. Yeah. I tried to parlay Mahomes Chiefs to win, and then I was going to arbitrage it with a 49ers ticket, but you just can't do that. So
I'm trying right now.
Smarter and smarter.
Yeah, they are.
So while you're trying to figure that out, let's get to some of the fun stuff, some of the novelty props. The Gatorade, man. What color is it going to be? The question of the year, it feels like. What you got?
The obvious answer, which I disagree with, is red. It's the obvious answer, right?
Easy,
both teams are red. Too easy. You know what color it's going to be. It's going to be the great color that I get to see every morning as I'm driving over the bridge and looking at Neyland Stadium. There's orange in the sky. It's going to be orange. It's going to be orange. It's the only way.
Okay.
It's the only way. It's going to be orange, baby. And I have no rhyme or reason except for that. I woke up. I was like, God, please give me a sign as I'm driving to work today. What color is the Gatorade going to be? Then I just look up and there it is. Orange sunrise.
Hey, I kind of like your. There is no rhyme or reason to it, and I can't sit here and say I have a logical explanation, but I'm kind of thinking on like the lines of what is going to be one of the least expected ones. Like which color just doesn't go well with red, and orange is a great answer. You know, it's like
thank you.
Ew, like it doesn't. It just looks gross with red. Same with yellow. I'm taking yellow lime Gatorade for plus 450 just to have some fun because it is a good one.
Best tasting, right?
I think that it's going to be yellow, and yeah, I mean, as simple as that. There's just no way to explain it logically, but I like yellow.
I saw it was a tweet of this guy DMing every single Chiefs player. And same thing every time. Hey man, like I'm doing this like office game for the Super Bowl, and I was just curious, like, what color is the Gatorade going to be? And he asked every single player.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Do you have any of the Swiftie props that you?
Okay, I did see one. I never took any, but I saw one over under 5.5 times that they show Taylor Swift on the broadcast, and I looked at the house rules, and the house rules is from kickoff to 000 on the scoreboard. So they can show them before and they can show her after, and that doesn't go towards the count total. And we talked about this before. You thought it was over. I thought it was
under. I thought it was over, but I thought about how many times the Chiefs are going to score, and they're not going to score 6 touchdowns.
A lot. So think about it. They're going to show her at least once when Travis Kelce makes his first catch.
Oh, yeah.
They'll show that. Then we'll give her another one just for shits and giggles. And then we'll give her another one, assuming Travis Kelce scores a touchdown. So that's 3.
Mm-hmm.
They need to show her 3 more times in between the game for that over to hit. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I know it feels like, if you've watched a Chiefs game before, I know it feels like a lot more than 6 times, but it hasn't been. It's been 3 or 4 times. So
I've got one. It's the song title Mine. It's Travis Kelce 87 plus receiving yards at plus 190. Locking it in. Locking it in.
Okay. I like it. But yeah, I saw that one. And then of course there's a national anthem over 86.5 seconds, under 86.5 seconds. For sure it's got to be over.
It's Reba McEntire, man. It's gone over.
I saw another one with who will the MVP refer to first? His teammates minus 150, God/religion plus 150, city and fans plus 775, family plus 1200, coaches plus 1400, or the team owner. So
myself. Oh man, I just played such a good game today.
Yeah.
I played great.
I think it's going to be Mahomes if the Chiefs win, and Purdy. If Purdy gets it,
it's God.
God of religion.
It's God.
So
I hope Mahomes is God too. I hope whoever it is, it's God.
Yeah, and then first song sang by Usher for his halftime show. Caught is minus 300. I feel like at 10-1 odds is just that's great odds.
Is it the first? But like Woody. That's the most played song, like at weddings, like at everything. Like, is that the first one he leads with, or is he gonna like when everyone's getting tired in the middle?
Okay, what about DJ Falling in Love Tonight at 12-1? That's a good one.
I feel like it all has to start with how the song starts. Like,
so
is it gonna start?
You think it's slower?
See, I don't know. No, I think it's. Cause baby tonight.
There we go.
It's gotta be that one.
Yeah. See?
DJ got us falling in love.
You can imagine him now just sitting there coming out of whatever contraption that he's coming out. Cause baby tonight.
Does he say DJ Usher before he starts singing?
Probably. Why not?
Usher. I think he says Usher before he starts singing. That's my plus 1,000. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
Good. Well, we got to talk about the one that we argue with every year, right?
Heads or tails, baby. Heads or tails.
It's tails.
Tails never fails, huh? I'm going heads, dude.
You always go heads.
I always go heads. I lost last year, but I won the year before. I'm taking heads at plus 100. Give it to me all day.
This is so bad, okay? But every year, I am waiting for that, and I hope, I don't even want it to be tails. I just hope it isn't heads. I'm sitting there with you every single year, and I'm like, I don't want it to be heads. I don't want it to be heads.
Yeah.
Every single
That's
year.
how competitive he is. That's how competitive we are. We don't even want to win. We just want the other to lose.
That's a horrible way to put it, but it's correct sometimes.
only in things that don't matter. Of course, I want Brendan to be successful in life. I just don't want him to hit a $50 bet on tails out of spite.
Because you're gonna lose that $50.
Yeah. It's heads, man. It's heads. It's going to be heads. This.
Is there a safety?
Ooh. No.
Is there a safety? I think the only way there's
offensive lines are too good for that.
Which team is more likely to score the safety?
I
think good.
I think the Chiefs would force a safety against the 49ers more than anything.
Same.
Even though the 49ers have the better defensive line, I just think that, assuming both offensive lines are the same, give or take, they're not, but let's assume they are the same. They're close enough. I just think Brock Purdy is more prone to having a mistake in the backfield than Patrick Mahomes. So, easy enough.
Sorry, I'm just kind of going through them all, dude. Kicking points, come on. Come on. I'm thinking both go over. 7.5 for Bucker.
First
6.5 for Moody.
Offensive play of the game, passing plus 120, rushing minus 150. I kind of like the plus odds of passing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the Chiefs get the ball.
So far.
Hey, we've had some good ones. So,
do you have who has the most receiving yards?
I do not, but if I had to guess now, if I had to guess, I think Kelsey would be a good one. If I had to pick one on the 49ers, Kittle or Debo. I'm not taking Ayuk.
Yeah, Ayuk has the best odds. Reel me that.
I don't get that at all.
Out of everybody,
I don't get
even
that
Kelsey.
At all. Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's gross.
I know, it's really gross. I'm liking Kittle or Debo.
Kittle or Debo is a good one. I think Kittle's going to eat underneath against this linebacking core.
Mm-hmm.
Debo's going to get a lot of... See, the thing is like, I don't know what kind of production Debo's going to get. It can be rushing or it can be receiving, but he's going to get the ball, certainly. But I don't know how it's going to turn out. So that's a good one. I like Kittle. If I had to pick, I like Kittle.
You like Kittle?
For his odds, assuming he has better odds.
Yeah.
Or more favorable odds. All right, man. All right, well, that wraps it up for our Super Bowl 58 prop shop. That's the last regular season football show of this year. We're going to take a few breaks, a few weeks off as a break, but we'll be getting back into it later this spring for some off-season content, so make sure to watch out for that. If you've watched all year, we appreciate you watching and look forward to your company next year. Guys, thank you so much. We'll be back later.
See you in April.